Hey there, it's Rachel Mullins, the host of Hashtag No Filter Fridays on Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Mediocrity is self-inflicted. Genius is self-bestowed. Good morning. Welcome to Choose to Rise. I'm so glad that you're here with me this morning. I feel so honored and blessed that you've decided to push play, that you're here with me on the live broadcast of Facebook, or that you are in the podcast version. Both places, I feel so honored that you're joining me. Today, we're going to be talking about being your best self. Be the best that you can be. I know that sounds so cliche and it sounds like, oh yeah, wah, wah, wah. But really when you focus on being who you are, who you can be, the best version of you in all that you're doing, you might not be flawless. You might not be perfect. You might not, you're going to encounter some ups and downs. You're going to have some struggles. You're going to have ways that you are just maybe not doing things that you're absolute best. But if you stick with it, and if you really work on, conquering the good with the bad, and you are confident in the knowledge that you have that in you and who you are and who God's made you to be, you're much more likely to live a life that you love, a life that is full of genius and a lot less mediocrity in this world. So many of us are going through this life in feeling like we're just lacking, or that we're just not good enough, or that, that we aren't, our best is not the best, or our best is not good enough for other people. And I really want to encourage you today and support you today in thinking a little bit differently about how you can be the best version of you and really own who the best version of you is. And regardless of what that looks like for you, it doesn't have to look like the same as somebody else. And I want to challenge you to think about these 3 questions. What are your signature strengths? Something that comes easily to you, but not everybody else. Something that you are really good at, that you care more about than other things, or just something that you're good at, right? Your strengths, your gifts, and your passions can all point you towards being your best self. God's made each and every single one of us completely unique, completely gifted in certain areas that maybe others are not. It takes everyone in the world to make it go around. It takes every strand in the tapestry to make it a beautiful thing and as the end product, right? So thinking about what are your strengths, what are the things that you are good at, what are the things that you can offer this world, and what can you own as being the best version of you? The second question I have for you is, what's unique about you that leads you to your happiest times or your best performances? However you have defined success, whatever that looks like for you in work, in relationships, in creativity, in relationships, whatever that might be, what is it about yourself that brings you to that place? What is it that makes you happy? What is it that you just feel good about being a part of something? Maybe it's your perseverance. Maybe it's your compassion. Maybe it's your courage. Maybe it's your optimism. Maybe it's something that you do with your hands. Maybe it's something you do with your head. Maybe it's something you do with other people. Maybe it's your ability to listen, or your willingness to take risks, or your openness to change, or your way to figure out things and then communicate them with other people. What about you helps you do you and be well? What about you leads you to your happiest moments and to your best performances? And the third question I have for you is, when you have acted in ways that felt natural or right, what were you doing? What things were you doing that you felt natural or right? Maybe you feel like yourself when you're helping or serving. Maybe you feel most alive in community. Maybe you feel most alive when you're by yourself. Maybe you feel most alive when you're in nature. Maybe it's when you are in a busy room with lots of people or kids or adults or whatever it might be. Figure out what it is that when you're just doing it, it just feels like it's supposed to be that way. And when you feel the most natural state and you're creating something or you're doing something, that's probably a strength that you have and a way that you can start living your best life. Start doing more of the things that make you feel good, that are kind of just feel natural to you, that bring you happiness and that are your strengths in this life. And when you can start doing those kinds of things, you're going to be able to really be the optimal and truest self of who God made you to be. And you can start living the potential of your life. This morning, the podcast that I was listening to from Quote of the Day, it talked about living your best life as being and living in the most potential that you have. So you are gifted so many amazing things, but God's put them all inside of you and you have to go find them. You have to be the treasure hunter who goes and looks inside of you and looks in his word and looks in the world around you and really reflect on those things. God's just not going to give it to you. You have to go find them. He's put all of it inside of you, and you have to think about what gives you great strength, what makes you feel natural, what brings you happiness. And then take that first step in going forward. Go for a walk every morning or meet tomorrow morning and you confirm that you are, whatever decision you've made, no matter what, is what it's going to be. So take that first step. Take that first step of us and going forward towards that sense of accomplishment. When you want to get moving, go do it, right? If you want to start a new job, go make plans in order to go do that. If you want to start a project, get all the materials you need to do. But first things first is you have to take that first step. You have to step towards the thing that you want to be doing. The second thing that you can do after you answer those 3 questions for sure is to practice gratitude every single day. Being happy is the first step in being a better version of yourself, and your happiness largely depends on how you feel about life. And once you learn to derive your happiness from the life that you're living right now, and you can really appreciate the things that are happening in your world, and you can be living a life of gratitude, you can learn to practice this gratitude daily and even focusing on the positive things in your life, and you'll see how you start to manifest other positive things that happen in your life. And it will get you much closer to those strengths and to that natural state that God's created for you. And that gratitude list will help you fuel yourself to keep moving towards the other things that are going to be happening in your life. The next thing you can do when you've answered those 3 questions and you're living your best life is you can keep motivating and inspiring yourself. One of my very dear friends said the other day, she said, you have to be your best cheerleader. You have to be your best cheerleader, not someone else. Like she said, really think about it when someone, maybe it's kind of spoiler alert here, but if I were to ask you a question of who's your best cheerleader, who is the biggest cheerleader for you in your life? I would hope that you would say yourself, but a lot of times other people don't have that confidence in themselves and they would say, oh, my husband, or oh, my mom, or oh, my best friend, or somebody else in their life. And really, we should be our best cheerleaders for ourselves. So knowing who we are, knowing what lights us up, knowing how we can be our best self keeps us motivated and keeps us inspired for being our own best cheerleader. It's definitely going to help remind you of your strengths. It's going to help remind you of the motivation that you have to keep going. It's going to help you be your best self in every situation because you know that you are cheering yourself on. It's going to help you step out of your comfort zone and not confine yourself within the boundaries of your own limitations. It's going to help you grow farther, and it's going to help you develop more personally. It's going to help you get rid of fear, and not necessarily maybe get rid of it, but push it aside and live with the fear and keep moving because of the fear. And you're going to be able to say yes when an opportunity comes your way that fits you, because you're going to be able to step outside of that comfort zone and know that you're living your best life. And these are all opportunities that show up for you when you step out of your comfort zone and you start owning who God's made you to be. You'll be able to set more goals for yourself. You'll be able to have more purpose in your life. You'll be able to feel more fulfilled in your life when you know the answer to those 3 questions. And you'll be able to have direction, and you'll be able to be filled of purpose, and you'll be able to eventually go and do the things that you've always wanted to do because you're owning who God made you to be. You're going to be able to take responsibility for the things that go wrong. You're going to be able to make adjustments in those things. Instead of blaming other people, you're going to be able to take responsibility, own your mistakes, own your circumstances, and then you'll figure out how you're going to rise above it and how you're going to be proactive instead of reactive to situations. There's no better way of taking charge of your own life than being the best version of you. You're going to be able to celebrate the wins, small wins, big wins, everything around you. Learn to celebrate all of it, because the more we celebrate, the more we're grateful, the more we have joy in our life, the more those things will start to show up. Now, I'm not saying that you're never going to have sadness or that you should never have negativity, because we live on those two rails all the time, right? We're that train car going down the tracks where you're going to have good and you're going to have bad, but we're not even promised ever a life of ease, right? We're promised a life that God is always going to be with us. And when we can celebrate more of the wins along the way, we're going to be more motivated. We're going to have more joy in our life. We're going to have more gratitude, and we're definitely going to be able to have more goodness come into our life, and we'll be able to equip ourselves for the bigger challenges that are coming ahead, because we're celebrating the good stuff and understanding that even the small things add up to the big things in the end. We're going to be able to embrace failure and act as, keep them in our hearts and mind as a blessing, as in disguise, instead of a way to bring us down. They're going to be able to teach us things. They're going to be able to help us move forward and be more successful. We talk about in our house all the time about how every day, when I get stronger is when I fail is when I get stronger, right? When you learn, when you fail at something, when it doesn't go necessarily your way, it's an opportunity to learn, not a stop sign, right? It's also going to prepare you for the best thing that's coming ahead. It's going to make you stronger for what's coming, and you're going to be able to do more because of it. And the last little tip I have for you, when you're answering those 3 questions and you're living your best life, you're going to be able to stay connected with people who love you selflessly. Stay in touch with true friends, with family that really supports you and encourage you. And it's going to teach you valuable relationships. It's going to enhance your love for yourself, and it's going to help you not necessarily bother your friends and family, but you're going to live in a way that you're going to be your best self and, catch up with old friends and surround yourself with the people who are going to love you selflessly, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely love my team. I love mentoring other women and getting fit in all areas of life. I love helping women, especially women, be encouraged and supported and believe in them massively, even when they don't believe in themselves. And I am so honored and grateful for the team of women that I've surrounded myself with, but I've created as well. And if you ever want to be a part of something like that, if you want to be a part of a group of women or want to be mentored by me to live your best life, to be more fit in your fitness, be more fit in your spirituality, be more fit in your health, and be more fit in just your mindset, I would love to mentor you. I'd love to work with you. So head over to choosetoriseup.com and find that information there. You can check on Get Fit With Me for Life. You can find out how I can come speak at your events. You can find out how I can work with your businesses or your organizations in helping you live fit as an organization as well. So I'm so excited to share with you about all of this amazing team and these great women that I work with every day. But also I want to make sure that you just feel valued and that you can live your best self, and you can be happy and you can be joyful and you can have all of the good things that are in your day. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you can focus on being your best self today. I hope that you can find something, one of those little tips, little strategies that I gave you today, and that you can live, be happy and joyful and live your best life, because that's how God intended us to live, right? He wants us to live out who He's created us to be, as unique as we are, as joy-filled as we are, as flawless or flawful as we are. He knows that He created us specifically for a job here on this earth, and He wants you to be your best self in that. So thanks for joining me. If it would call upon your heart that you would hit the share button at the bottom of this screen and send it off to somebody else, that would be such an honor for me. And a just big thank you for doing that, for those of you that already do. And if you are listening this in the podcast and you love it, hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you would leave a rating and review, that helps more people find the podcast as well. And it just is such a wonderful thing when we can help each other lift up and rise up and be our best selves and live the life that God intended for us. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you back here again next time.